here I had a 2013 Buick Regal with the 2.4 liter engine. And this goes for any GM with the 2.4 liter engine with this code P0411. And what I want to do is I want to explain how the system works, so we can diagnose it easier, because all I see are videos on what the cause is, and it's basically the clogged exhaust valves, and no one really shows how to diagnose it, or what each system does, or what each component does, I mean. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a little drawing and show pictures of the parts and what each part does, and what to test for. And before I get into it, I do want to say there is a TSB on this, basically saying the same thing. You know, the exhaust ports can get clogged, and this is the bulletin number 18NA061. You just go to their website, and it has really good information on what can cause this code. And basically mostly what it says is, one, water and ice buildup in the hoses, and then number two, the exhaust ports getting clogged with carbon. And that's usually what it is. It's those two things. But like I said, this video is more for showing the parts, where they go, and what they do with the part number. So hopefully this helps you. So first you have your airbox, and then there's a line that's connected to the airbox, and it's connected after the air filter. That way the air that's coming into the pump is clean. And then what you're going to want to see is, you're going to want to feel at this line if there's any suction at that line. When you turn on the pump. So then that line runs to the pump, and then the pump is at the bottom of the engine. The pump is connected to a bracket with like 3 bolts, and basically all that does is sucks air from here and pushes air to these air solenoids. Then you have a line that splits into 2, which is, some of it is like plastic and some of it is metal, and some of it is like rubber, I believe, and I'll show pictures of this. But then this line splits into 2 lines, and then these go to the air solenoids, or secondary air injection solenoids. All right. Then, I mean, these solenoids are they describe them depending on what cylinders they go to. So this one would be like 1-2 air solenoid, and this one would be like 3-4 air solenoid. It just depends where that solenoid provides air to. Then you have your exhaust pipes. All right, and then those exhaust pipes are connected to the engine, to the back of the engine, and then they're just providing air to these exhaust ports. All right, so that's basically how it works. I'll hopefully all the pictures I took show what's what. So here I provided the description for the code P0411, and if you want to pause the video and read up on that, you can do that to learn what it does and why it does it. But the important part here is down here where it says for P0411, it has to it's usually set through phase 1 of the testing that it does on itself. It goes to 3 phases to test itself, and it has different codes for all 3 tests. All right, so during phase 1, if you want to read that, it says the pump is activated and the air injection shutoff valves are also activated. So the shutoff valves are usually closed, kind of like a purge valve. So when they're powered up, they are opened. All right, and it says here normal air function occurs, and the expected system pressure is 5 to 11 kilopascals, or 0.7 to 1.6 psi above barrel. And then there's something else saying here, talking about high magnitude pressure pulses. Honestly, I don't really know what that is. I think what it means is that the sensor can sense these changes in pressure caused by the exhaust coming out of each cylinder. And because they're opening at different times, and exhaust is coming out at different times, the sensors can somewhat see these changes in pressure. So if it's coming out normally, there's and if you scope the the sensors, I'm sure there's a magnitude or type of waveform that it usually likes to see. But if there's a blockage somewhere, it won't see this waveform caused by these pulses. And if you read here the conditions for setting the DTC, one of the conditions can be the difference between the predicted magnitude of pressure pulsations and the actual magnitude of pressure pulsations. So I believe this can be caused by, you know, either a blockage because it's not feeling that difference in pressure being caused by the pulses of the exhaust, or a leakage at the you know, anywhere in the exhaust system, you know, like the exhaust manifolds, because the exhaust manifolds a lot of times on these cars are cracked, and if the exhaust is escaping there, you know, the sensor is not going to be feeling that change in pressure as much. Now, one thing I want to check before even doing any of these tests is making sure that my pressure sensors are reading correctly. The pressure sensors should be reading almost pretty much the same as a barometric pressure sensor or your map sensor because they're all reading atmospheric pressure. And this is with the engine off but ignition on. And if they're all the same PSI or kilopascals, then you can move on, you can proceed. But like I said, this is only when there's only seeing if they're all reading the same with nothing happening and the engine is off. Because once you start testing and putting pressure, then the secondary air injection pressure sensors are going to be changing, but not the other sensors. Now that you know how the system works and all the parts that are included in it, it's easier to test the system. And to test the system, you need a scan tool. And in the scan tool, you need a bi-directional one. There's 3 tests right here. It says secondary air injection pump relay, and that's just to run the pump. And with this function, what you want to do is you want to turn it on, first of all, to listen to if the pump is actually even running, if it's running good, if it's not making any funny noises. Also to see if it's sucking air from the air box and pushing air at the inlet side of the air solenoids. So you want to just disconnect those air solenoids and see if there's any air coming out. Secondary air injection solenoid valve, and that's just to turn on the air valves. That's it. That test is just to turn them on and off, on and off. Now, if you heard that, you could hear them clicking, but what you can also do is you could connect the hose to the inlet side of the solenoids, and you could disconnect them because they're just held by 13 millimeter bolts, 2 of them, so they're easy to take off. But you could connect the hose on it and then blow air through it and see if it comes out or if it doesn't come out. I didn't have a hose, so I had to disconnect them and actually blow through it with my mouth, just like that. But like I said, they're supposed to be closed when they're not powered on. And when they're powered on, they should be open. So see if there's air coming out or not air coming out. And then this last test is secondary air injection system, and that turns on the pump relay and it turns on the solenoids. And that's the phase 1 test, if you want to think about it that way. And that's for this code. So if you have this code, you want to do the secondary air injection system test, which turns on the pump and it turns on the air injection valves. Now that I've selected this test, it's also going to show me data PIDs, and I have 4 different PIDs, and then this top one is for bank 1, bank 2 pressure, and that's the pressure that it's supposed to be at atmospheric pressure, 96.72 kilopascals. And then this bottom one is supposed to show me the pressure that it creates. Now, when I run this test, what it's going to do is going to turn on the pump and turn on the air valves, and what's going to happen is the pump is going to make pressure. And what these bottom 2 PIDs is going to read what the pressure is at the sensors. And if it's high, there's a blockage. And if it's low, there's a leak. If you remember, the pressure it's supposed to create is between 5 and 11 kilopascals. So this one is right at the edge. It's almost 11. In my case, what I think was happening was because of the cold weather, and it was around January, I believe there was maybe the water on the hoses, because there was a little bit of water, was freezing up and causing a bit of a blockage. It could also been because there was carbon in the exhaust ports. But what I ended up doing was I ended up erasing the codes and drying off the hoses, and then told the customer to come back if the code came back, and they never really ended up coming back. So I think that's about much information as I can put out regarding this this code. I'll put in another picture of someone on Identifix showing how to do these tests too, but they're using voltage. The only thing I didn't like about this test is they were saying that the voltage should be about 2.9 volts, which is almost correct, but it's not about 2.9. There should be a range, which is usually, I believe, it's like about 2.8 volts and 3 volts. I don't know the exact numbers, but if you're looking at voltage, but if you're looking at kilopascals, it's 5 and 11, and then if you're looking at PSI, it's between 0.7 and 1.6 PSI. But I'll leave this up just in case it helps you. This post doesn't say use scan tools. It says connect using wires and manually put power to them. But I just feel like that overcomplicates it. Well, here what I was doing is I was running the same test. Looking at voltage, because some people might use voltage, or sometimes it won't translate over to kilopascals PSI. But looking at voltage, 107 kilopascals is about 3.077 volts, somewhere around there. It looks like you may not want to go above 3.1 volts. So hopefully that helps out if you can't translate it to kilopascals or PSI, because I know some scan tools can be finicky about that. Now, one thing I will mention is, depending on the car, year, make, and model, and I believe it's mostly year, but there's a difference in expected system pressure. Like on this one, this is a 2011 Buick Regal with the 2.4. The expected system pressure is 8 to 15 kilopascals when it's running the phase 1 test, whereas mine was a 2013 Buick Regal 2.4, and it was a hybrid, I think, and that one was 5 to 11. So be really careful. If you have a certain car and you can't find any information on what the specification is, just ask me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible, because I do have access to Identifix and Mitchell. But if you have this car, like I said, it's a 2011, maybe this test will help you out here too. It's a post by someone on Identifix, and it's basically saying to run phase 1 of the test. But that's for that car. So like I said, be careful what car you're using. Maybe on newer ones the specification is higher or lower. So now, if you have any questions or comments, please just write them down in the comments section and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. It usually takes me about a day to look up information and write back. But yeah, hopefully this helps you out on diagnosing these cars. It is a lot, but honestly, if you break it down like I kind of did, it's really easy to understand it. Actually, it's not that bad. And like I said, most of the time it is just those clogged exhaust ports. But if it is winter time and it's super cold, maybe check those lines to see if there's any water too, because I think that's what just happened with my customer. There was just water, and maybe there was partial blockage at the exhaust ports, but it just wasn't enough to set the code ever again. So let me know if you need any help and I'll try to respond as soon as possible.